You remember Vac?
Vac?
V-A-K?
No, it's that.
The character?
Let's say, is that a character? Is that your character?
The New Vegas. It was like 6 months ago.
Well, I remember we had the guy who was the old preacher.
That's Rev.
Oh, okay.
It's Reverend. I forgot what his last name
It's
is.
Vac, the guy that was planning the whole heist. Yeah, the train heist or something.
He was the drug addict. I'm writing him again, and it's just me. And do you remember? You probably don't. But do you remember James, the other writer that I was working with? His character's name is James.
Okay.
His name is Max.
Okay.
But we were closest when in that whole server thing that happened.
Yeah.
His character James and my character Vac are basically partners.
Yeah.
Partners in crime, kind of, to an extent. His character is an NCR ranger, retired ranger, and but he's still like a badass. And he was known as Jack the Ripper in the army, and like he only retired because he took a machete to the leg from Legion. But what, Alexa?
Are you recording?
I'm talking to him, and I don't want to like take this conversation forever, so I'm asking so that he'll respond to you. No.
All right, Maya has a question. Maya, what's your question? Hi, Maya. You got it? You sure? You sure? Okay. Thank you.
Anyway, he came back, and basically the server died.
Okay.
The original server got like Hiroshimaed by the owner.
Make sure we log in, guys, because we're going to start a lesson in a second.
And then we started a smaller one, which didn't last very long just because we weren't as motivated now that everything that we had written for the past 6 months had been cut, executed, gone. Nowhere to be found. The server was completely deleted, and every piece of writing we had done in the last 6 months was done.
That is tragedy.
Yeah, and the leader of the server, the guy that owned the whole thing, the guy that pulled the plug on it, like, he didn't want to run the server anymore. He was a terrible owner. He wasn't regulating any of the rules. He wasn't coming in and like helping us run the place, because me, James, and another guy were the moderators of the place. We were basically running it like we were the owners, because he was never fucking around anymore. And he basically ghosted us on everything. He was always lazy. He was always like extremely tired and lazy, and he would always admit to being. He would admit to it, like, I don't feel like it. I don't want to. He says, I'm the king of procrastination. He would never respond to people when he was in an RP with them. And then one day I'm like, dude, just hand the leadership over to me. I'll run the place. Give me all the permissions. And like I was calling him out. I was pissed off, and he just, I guess I said something bad enough for him to just delete the whole server.
Oh,
and I completely admit to it. I was pissed, and I was yelling at him, and he probably just said screw it. But I wanted the server. I wanted to run it. He didn't want it, and I did. And instead of just giving it to me and being done,
everything got deleted.
We lost work. We lost real work.
Lesson today, man. Log in. We're gonna start in a second.
Don't worry, I wasn't.
I believe you. I believe you. That's horrible. You have the counselor? Okay, log in real quick because I want to start this lesson soon.
But anyway, we came back, and it's just me and him now. And we're writing in this it's the same server, but like not same. We made a server, and we're putting all our stuff in it. And we're redoing the characters, and we're gonna call it I think it's of Gangers and Gunslingers is what it's called. And it's like 6 months after wherever we left off in the last place, and like that lore is there to be twisted and like formed over so that we can create the story now as we want it. So everything that happened beforehand under the constraints of server and RP and like outside of just the storytelling aspect of what we were doing, that's not influenced anymore. So we can change that however we want. We can make it drastic. We can make it exaggerated.
And now you have all the permissions and everything.
Yeah, we have complete control over what we.
If you have partners and they can do something like that, and you have no control, you have no ownership, and anyone can go rogue at any time. So it's a good lesson in life to be like, even the most trustworthy people, if you don't have equity and you don't have the same level of ownership, they have something more than you, then that can happen. There's a Unreal Engine meetup out here, and I was the co-organizer, but the guy who started it was the organizer.
That thing?
No, that was NAB show. It was a convention. That's different. It's just like a weekly meetup, and it was really badly run. There would be like, who would show up? The organizer, me, and the two people that I brought, and that was just a guy and his dad. Would show up, and that was it. And like one time, we couldn't make it, and like all the organizers showed up and nobody came. So I would send out stuff to the mailing list and things like, hey, I'm doing this thing or the game jam and stuff. And I guess he didn't like that or whatever. And I stopped going because it was just, I didn't really, connect with his personality either. And then all of a sudden I get this message that says, just want to let you know, I have removed you as co-organizer of Unreal Engine 4 meetup. No explanation, just that.
That was the entire email?
That was the entire email. And I thought, what a douchey way to introduce that.
Oh, yeah.
So what I did,
Just so you know.
So what I did is I knew that the meetup was going to happen next Wednesday. This was on a Friday night. So I called up different people here, a coffee shop I got to open late. And I said, I want Wednesday at 6 o'clock, same time that his meetup's at. And I started a new meetup called Unreal Engine Plus. And I sent mailing lists out to all my members on all my different events and stuff. And I had a bigger meetup, a better meetup on the same night of the original meetup, except now I control Unreal Engine Plus.
Wow.
And ever since then, Unreal Engine Plus has met. I've had Christian Allen, the famous game designer, and I do stuff. So I did that. And you know what? Now, and the thing is it wasn't just like the way if he had said something nice, hey, you're not coming to a lot of meetups, I'm thinking about, restructuring, and if you're not that involved, can we talk? Something like that would have been nicer. It wasn't just that. He had removed my strategic ability to communicate with people in Las Vegas who indicated that they were interested in Unreal Engine. Those people could be maybe employees of mine or collaborators of mine in the future. And to remove that, to cut that off, is a disadvantage to my business. So I had to pull a similar chess move that would make it so that I can always maintain that connection. And in that lesson, I realized that you have no power if you don't have all the power in that sense.
One of my biggest mottos for life is, what is the goal? What is the goal? And the answer to that question is independence.
Yeah.
Just what is the goal? Independence.
Independence is the goal. Yes.
And I got this from a song of all things, but it stuck. Like it stuck. But anyway, he says,
guys, we're gonna get started in 1 minute. Make sure you log in.
If you have everything, if they take everything from you today, what do you have tomorrow? And it's intellectual property. And the next question is, what is intellectual property? Because they can take all your possessions, but they can't take your mind.
Yeah. Never need something so bad that you can't walk away. That's another thing about independence.
I like tying that back in. It's like, if you're independent and you know that, just completely lost my train of thought. Well, anyway, if you're independent, you're able to go out and find a way to secure everything for yourself. You have your equity in everything that you are a part of. You have ownership that no one can take away from you. You're untouchable in the eyes of the law and the government because you do not go around. You don't try to find the shortcuts. You don't try to break the law.
Yeah.
Something my father has always taught me is cover your ass.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself out there to get trapped or hooked by the system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fish hooks fucking everywhere.
They are. Yeah. Cover your ass. I love that. Arnold Schwarzenegger has something he says in the commencement speech where he says, break the rules, not the law. Break the rules, not the law. That's true.
I forgot what it's called exactly. I don't know if it's necessarily illegal, but when a civilian doesn't believe in a law, shown in the most lawful way possible, he refuses to follow it. I forgot what that's called.
He got it, man. Good see, Grant. All right, guys, live stream is up. Make sure you refresh the page if you don't have it. Live stream is up. Take your seats. We're going to get started.
Wait, right now?
Like right now. Why? You have something real quick?
And it's hearing me right now?
It's hearing you right now. You're on live. The world is listening.
That's fine.
Okay.
I experimented with my pirate ship, and now I can actually like control a pirate ship in my game.
Really?
At home.
Whoa, that's
I-
really cool.
Yeah, it was experimenting.
It was experimenting. That's exciting. You can sail it, or what? How you control it? Yeah.
I actually control it.
It's on the ocean or something in the game? Oh my goodness, that sounds
I
amazing.
can't go on the land; it breaks apart.
Oh, perfect.
I actually made it like break apart.
Oh
It's really
wow.
cool.
I wanna. You should take a video of it. Okay. Screen recording. Show me. All right, guys, let's get started. Sorry for the late start. Here we're going to, for those who just came in, what we're going to do is focus back on our RPG projects with one slight change. So far, we've been doing a lot of dialogue systems. These are super important because it's the whole storytelling mechanism of a game, of a story. But what we want to do now is we want to introduce some likeness into our NPCs. Right now, they just stand there like statues, waiting for somebody to go up and talk to them. What we want to do is give them the ability to move around their world. And we're going to start by making a custom event that causes them to wander around the world. We've done this before last year, if any of you guys remember. We did NPCs wandering. We're going to do that with a little bit of variety added in. That way, we're going to make... Well, here's the thing. They'll go to the waypoints, but maybe they'll wait at a waypoint for a period of random seconds before they decide to go to somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, you can load that time delay to a variable.
There you go, right? Or how about this? Maybe we have a Boolean that says, this guy, he doesn't have wander ability, so he always stays put, because you don't want all your NPCs just moving around, things like that. So that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to give them the ability to wander and move around their world. First thing you're going to do, you have the live stream up, open up your NPC blueprint. With the NPC blueprint open, I want you to find an empty area of graph. And like always, when we want to make a block of code, things happen, we like to put in a custom event so it's all together. We're going to make a custom event. Right-click, look up custom event, and name this custom event AI space wander. AI wander. And I want you to drag off of this custom event called AI wander. And look up AI move to. AI move to. Now on AI move to, it's going to ask us first pawn. Who is doing the moving? Who is doing the moving? NPC. We're coding this on what? The NPC. So it's this NPC itself that's moving. Drag off of pawn, look up self. Get reference to self. Now, I like the waypoint way of doing things. We could do a random number here for the destination and then they go somewhere random in the world. But what if it picks a point that's random that's like way out over here, or something that's way high in the sky, or something that's stuck inside a wall? We want our NPC to only go to particular points of interest. So I want to do that in the form of making waypoints. So let's make a waypoint blueprint. Everybody in the front of Unreal now. In the front of Unreal, you're going to make a new blueprint. So the front of the editor, click Add New, Blueprint Class. Which one do you think we're going to pick? Actor. Actor we choose 99% of the time. And you're going to name it Waypoint. Add New, Blueprint Class, Actor. You name it Waypoint. Don't even open up your waypoint blueprint. We're actually not going to put any code on our waypoint blueprint. We're just going to leave the waypoint blueprint blank, and that's okay. Let's have you do this, though. Drag a few of these waypoints into your world. Now, your world should look a lot more interesting than mine because you decorated it, you level designed it. Mine's all boring and gray. I'll have to do something about that. But for now, I'm going to drag a few waypoints into the world. Maybe drag 5 or 6 or so. If you have particular points of interest, things that an NPC would maybe be expected to go up to, it's a fantasy, maybe they've got like a well or something that they're going to walk up to, put a waypoint there, maybe put a couple. That'll increase the odds that an NPC will be told to go to that waypoint. Once you've dragged 5 or 6 or so waypoints into your world, go to your NPC blueprint, and let's continue our code, our custom event AI Wander. So make sure you're back now on your blueprint. We're going to continue this code. Now we're going to ignore this destination part of AI Move to. Instead, we're going to care about target actor. We want the target actor to be one of these waypoints, a randomly picked waypoint, okay? So to do that, I want you to move this code off to the side. We're going to have to put a little blueprint node in here. So move this AI Move to node off to the side. And drag off of AI Wander. And we're going to do a special node called Get All Actors of Class. Get All Actors of Class. Get All Actors of Class, what does it do? Get All Actors of Class gets all of the instances of a particular blueprint type in the entire world. And it spits it out in the form of a list being an array. Remember that waffle icon? That's why it looks like a waffle. All right, Get All Actors of Class. What blueprint are we looking for here? The waypoint, exactly. So where it says select class on Get All Actors of Class, click select class and look up waypoint. Drag off of out actors. Now we just want to get one of them at a time. I want to get one of them randomly. So to get something from a list, we look up get. Get and choose get a copy. Yeah, we always choose get a copy and never do the other type of get. Always do get a copy. Well, no, not a variable right now. We're not going to promote this to a variable, actually. We want this to be a random number, but here's the thing. We want to be a random number limited to a range. Because let's say we have 6 waypoints in there. What if the random number that comes back is 10 or 12 or 55? Okay, there's no waypoint for that. So we only want the maximum random number to be however big our list is. So here's what you're going to do. Drag off of this green circle on the get and look up random and choose random integer in range. In range. What it does, it picks a number randomly within a range. Minimum we can leave at what? 0. But what will maximum be? Huh? He says the amount of actors we place. So how many actors do we place? 5. So should we put 5 in for max? Should we put 5 in for max? Yes or no? Raise your hand if you think you should put in 5 for max. Raise your hand. Okay. Raise your hand if we shouldn't, you think. Okay. Eric says we should not. Why shouldn't we, Eric? Well, we're starting at 0, but we're talking about the max. Oh, so he's saying put in 4, right? Because it counts an array. Clever. Okay, yeah, what were you going to say? That's the answer I'm looking for. Okay, here's the thing. You might add in more waypoints later. Do you want to have to open up your NPC code and make sure that you have the exact number of waypoints every time? What if later on you make this map really, really big and you're like, oh, I want to put a waypoint over here. Oh, I've got this spaceship they can go up to. I have this other thing. And you're dragging more waypoints. You have to keep track of this. That's too much work. Instead, what we can do is just ask our array how big it is. Hey, how many items do you have in your list? And plug in that number into max. And that way, no matter if we have 5, 6, 5,000 waypoints in our world, it'll always pick a number within that range. So here's what you're going to do that. Drag off of out actors and look up last index. Last index. Last index, and plug in last index into max. So if that last index is 5, maximum is going to be 5. If that last index is 51, that maximum is going to be 51. So it's always going to be grabbing a number that correlates to a specific waypoint. That's what's good about that. All right, so now get is going to spit out whatever waypoint it got from the random number, random integer in range. So we want that to be our target actor on our AI move to. So plug in the front of get, or the little bubble on get, into target actor. Okay, and also let's do this. Acceptance radius is how far away he has to get before it's considered a success. He successfully got to his location. 5 is 5 centimeters. That's kind of too precise, I think. Maybe the thing's stuck behind a wall or something and he never gets to it technically. Let's set acceptance radius to 100. All right, on success will be fired when he successfully gets to the waypoint. Let's do this. Let's not just say, hey, he gets there and he goes right to the next waypoint. Let's make him wait a little bit. And we'll make that waiting time random, again, to just give more variety to it. So dragging off on success, what are we going to look up to make him wait? Delay, you got it. Look up delay. Delay has a duration. Duration is how long he's going to wait. How do we make this number random? Huh? What? Drag off what in type of random? Off the green circle. Okay, drag off the green circle. Look up random. Do we just do random or do we want a certain type of random? Random in range, exactly. That way it doesn't pick, you know, some crazy far off number. So we'll put random float in range because these are floats. Random float in range. All right, the minimum amount of time you want them to wait. This could be anything. If you want them all to wait, you could put like some number here, or you could leave it at nothing. That way sometimes the waypoint is just something he has to go to, but he's immediately sent to the next thing after. I'm going to set minimum to 2. I'm going to say, okay, he is going to someplace important. So set minimum to 2. And let's say you set maximum to, I don't know, 8. You can change your numbers. It can be whatever you want. I'll say minimum he's going to wait there 2 seconds. Maximum he's going to wait is 8 seconds. And then the delay will be completed, allowing us to call the next code, which is going to be what? Calling all of his code again, right? We want to recall AI wander. That way he goes and looks for the next waypoint randomly, and the next one, the next one. So drag off of delay and look up the name of your custom event, AI wander. Okay, let's move over to the front of this AI wander code real quick. What I want to do, actually, let me think about this. Let's see about this. Well, we got to do that. Yeah, let's start with that. Okay. We need to trigger the wander code to happen at least in the beginning when the game starts. So I want you to look up begin play. On an empty area of graph, look up event begin play. And off of begin play, we're calling what? AI wander. Well, what'd you say? AI wander? Yeah, exactly. AI wander. Because that code's got to be started at least once, and then it'll kind of cause its own looping to happen. So begin play, AI wander. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to move off the begin play, move the AI wander off to the side. Let's add a setting that allows you to change whether an NPC even wanders or not. So you can allow them to stay put. So in the variables tab in the bottom left, click plus variable. We're going to leave this as a Boolean, so it should be the red type of Boolean variable. And I want you to name it. Name it stay in place, question mark. Stay in place, question mark. So you've made a Boolean variable, the bottom left. You named it stay in place. Variable type is Boolean. All right, for this variable to show up in the details panel, what do I need to check? What do I need to do? The eyeball. So next to the variable, bottom left, open up the eyeball icon. And click compile, top left, hit compile. All right, over by your begin play, I want you to drag stay in place onto your graph and do get stay in place. Drag off of stay in place and look up branch. Not ranch. I had to tell Mr. Endon's class, branch. They were like, ranch? No, branch, the B. All right. Now connect in your wires. Begin play goes into the branch. So if stay in place is true, do we want AI Wander to go? False, right? So if stay in place is true, we're going to do nothing. We're not going to do anything. But if it's false, then we'll allow him to wander. So drag from false into AI Wander. All right, hit compile, top left. Go to the front of Unreal. For AIs to move, for any NPC to move, we need to have what in our world? We already got the waypoints in. What box? Nav mesh. Easy to forget. I forget it sometimes too. You need to have a nav mesh, otherwise the NPCs will never move. So in the modes panel on the left, look up NAV and bring out a nav mesh bounds volume. And nav mesh bounds volume is just a box. Okay, just a box. It's like any other volume. And what you're going to do is you're going to stretch your box. You're going to scale it so it's as big as the world where the NPCs can walk around. Be careful if you have some gigantic landscapes. Sometimes people drag it so big, it will cause your game to lag if it's super duper enormous. So don't make it super enormous. If you are making a big open world game, you're like, well, it has to be this way. There are ways that you can cheat this. You know, you could have nav meshes next to each other, okay, that connect little pathways like that, and then they lead to other areas with a larger nav mesh, just like that. Okay, that still counts. If you want to see if your nav mesh is working, you can press the P key on your keyboard. When you press P, you're going to see any area that the NPC can walk as a green area. See what I did here? I made this little path by making a second nav mesh, shrinking it one side, and that way NPCs, if they want to get over here, they can. If I put waypoints over here, but they got to travel through this little corridor to get there. Okay, that cuts down on your lagging and also allows you to make some really interesting places for NPCs to go, to kind of force their choices. You know, and you get really creative with this sort of thing too. All right, so again, you can press P to turn that nav mesh on and off. If you've done that, last thing I want you to do, click on an NPC that you think should stay put, that should not move, and look in the details panel for that NPC and just check mark stay in place. If you check mark stay in place in his details panel, then that's going to cause his AI code to never execute, so he'll always stay where he's located. Really good for things like quest givers, okay? Quest givers you don't want moving around the world necessarily. If you've done all of this, hit play and see if your NPCs will wander your world. Okay, one more thing I want to do. I don't like our NPCs running around like this. They should be a lot slower. So go back to your NPC, click on character of movement in your NPC's blueprint. So go to your NPC blueprint, click on character movement. Character movement has all of his speed settings. Look up speed and set his max walk speed of your NPC. Set it to 300. That'll mean that they'll walk to their waypoints instead of running. Actually, no, he's still kind of doing a slow jog. Let's try 150. Maybe 100. Yeah, it's kind of walking weird. I wonder if. How would I fix this? 200's good? I wonder if I messed around my animation blend spaces and that caused them to look weird. Looks good on your end? Yeah, I think I did something with my animation blend space. So let's see. Yeah, it looks better. Okay, that's it for the lesson part. Think about what you could do to make this a little bit more custom, a little bit more different. One thing I'm thinking we might do is maybe we'll dynamically spawn on some NPCs a waypoint as well. So NPCs go up to each other. And then maybe we can have audio play and things like that, where they actually converse.
I think I broke it. My people won't go in.
Yeah.
1 hour. Oh, 1 hour.
I would slow them down though. Set their speed to 200. Bro, they're just getting so good. It's too fast. Escape. So they're all
Phone's away, phone game's away. No, I'm not saying those are my first name. You do have a luxury. Got all your all moving around. Like the Is it the delay or what?
it's not his problem.
Oh, maybe that's disaster. No, must be stuff. If the, they might see that shit happen. So they're wasting the that things now, it's not fireball, and have those in there, and then you just kind of, this is an obstacle. And also the AI. It's been 2 weeks since I'm moving. I bet, okay, wait, wait, look, the green area is the only area for you. Are there any NPCs in there? There are green areas. There, it's like it's stuff in blue or something. Green areas. They're not stuff. You gotta lower your. Yeah. So you gotta scale it down. Now they want. Play in the one. Alright, thank you. Well, get it out of the way. No. And you finally did it. You're over there playing. No. You can't hear anything. I know I'm watching the movie. You're just looking at subtitles. Okay. They're just stuck there, but I'm not gonna worry about that. Just don't worry about that. Okay? Okay. Turn. Right? Turn. Right or left? Either way. Go there. Right now. Hey, did you get through it?
You know what it's supposed to be?
It's a good one, right? Right here on our way to making Fallout New California. No, it wasn't easy.
Yeah, it was. Easy.
And you know what I was trying to do?
Yes, it
I
was.
went fast. I went way faster. Bye, guys.
Mister, you're stuck in this.
Okay. All right. I'm stuck in this. All right, gotta throw it all away.
Okay, but do you know what I was trying to do?
What were you trying to do? No.
Make a move.
Okay.
I had watched the tutorial on that this weekend.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm glad you watched the tutorials. Nice. What they do.
I had done that, and I had done that for my pirate game, and it actually worked well for my pirate game.
It did?
Somehow, it like, made my character like move slower in
Yeah.
the water.